Hi, I'm Jamie Flaherty. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services in Fort Thomas Schools. The leadership inside Fort Thomas Schools has recognized that we do have plenty of students walking to and from school each day. With that, there are challenges that come to be. We can see with a population of 3,000 students that a half would walk to and from. And with that, we need to make sure that we are cautioning our students as they approach a crosswalk. They need to make sure that they're aware of their surroundings and are given the green light if a crosswalk monitor is there in hypothetical terms, so that they can then use the crosswalk and proceed into those traffic lanes so that hopefully they safely cross to the other side. We do have some real feedback from our community, and we do recognize that we have issues and that it's a growing concern amongst our community. That's why we want to be engaged in a solution to work with the city so that we can come up with an educational model to share with our drivers.
What we need is for both drivers and pedestrians to be aware of what they're doing at the crosswalk. It's a driver's responsibility to watch for pedestrians, but pedestrians also need to make sure they're looking both ways and watching for cars before they step out into that crosswalk. It's as much their responsibility as it is the driver's responsibility to keep themselves safe. Crossing guards, when present in a crosswalk, are in charge. Make sure that you listen to what they say, stop when they stop you, and don't go until they tell you it's safe to. Only activate the devices in crosswalks with the yellow blinking lights when you're ready to cross the street. Some of the issues that we see around crosswalks are, in the crosswalks that have beacons, people will press the beacon light and think that they can just walk because the light is on. But you still need to make sure that you're watching for cars and that that car is going to stop before you cross the crosswalk. Another issue we sometimes see, especially with younger people, is that they'll stand a couple feet back from the crosswalk and drivers aren't sure if they want to cross or not. When you're ready to cross, get right up to the crosswalk, maybe even have 1 foot on the road, wait for the cars to stop, make eye contact with the drivers, and then cross and make sure you're safe. Another issue we see that gets into a lot of older people, especially at the high school and middle school level, is that we have people who cross the crosswalk while they're looking at their phones, just assuming that the crossing guard is there to stop traffic, which they are, but it's still your responsibility to look at your surroundings and make sure that you know that all those vehicles have stopped before you cross. And don't ever cross the street while looking at your cell phone. Drivers must stop at the crosswalk when a pedestrian is on the sidewalk ready to cross. They do not actually have to be in a crosswalk. In the city of Fort Thomas, we have both crosswalks made out of red brick and just painted crosswalks. Both are legal crosswalks, and in both, pedestrians have the right of way in traffic. So we're at the middle school right now. We're at the crosswalk that's in front of it on Memorial Parkway. This crosswalk tends to be a problem because there's not a lot of area for parents to pick up and drop off. So sometimes we have parents who are illegally parked and it just gets very congested through here. Also, it's Memorial Parkway, so a lot of people start going pretty quick through here. But this is one of the main crossings for high school and middle school students. So we need people to be extremely careful when they're coming through this area on Memorial Parkway. So now we're at the crosswalk at Moyer Elementary. This crosswalk has been an issue because it's on Highland Avenue, which is very busy. This elementary school has more students than any of the other elementary schools. And every day, there's a lot of students who are crossing through here, and we often get complaints here. We're at St. Thomas School, and this crosswalk is a problem because we're on a 4-lane road. So it's a lot more area for drivers where they need to watch for who's crossing. It's also a much longer cross for the kids who cross here.
Actually, staff's been working with City Council over the last 3 years on a pedestrian safety initiative and really concentrating on our sidewalk crossings in our business districts and our locations around our schools throughout the school district. We've had an opportunity to place our first beacon in front of Moyer Elementary on Highland Avenue, which is a city-owned street. Our first installation was at North Fort Thomas Avenue at Memorial Parkway near Highlands High School. Our second location is hopeful to be completed over the spring break from the high school at the crosswalk immediately in front of the high school. Additional locations would be at St. Thomas Elementary and at the Highlands Middle School locations. Those are on schedule to be done shortly after the school year ends.
The reason why we're staggering the start times and end times for our schools would be to help with traffic congestion. After spring break, there are going to be some changes with drop-off and pickup times at all of our schools. We recognize that we will start in the mornings at 7:45 with a start time at Johnson. Then Woodville and Moyer will have a start time of 8 a.m. And finally, 8:15 will be the start time for both the middle school and the high school. In the afternoon, our dismissal procedures will also be staggered. We have a 2:30 pickup time for Johnson, 2:45 for Moyer and Woodville, and then ending our pickup time will be 3 p.m. for the middle school and high school. There will be one different situation as we recognize our preschool students will not be on Johnson's campus. They will be transitioning after spring break to Moyer. Their start time for morning will be 8:15, ending at 11:15, and the afternoon program will be from 12 to 3.